look at the case study of a man in the Bible that is a great example for this, and his name is Joseph. How many of you know Joseph? Brother Joseph. Joseph had a vision. God had given him a vision about how he was going to rule, how he was going to be great. He had seen the moon and the stars bow to him, and seen other pictures, all right, of the greatness of God. And Joseph believed it and was walking in the reality of it. And immediately what happened? His brothers became envious of him and then began to persecute him. They persecuted him until at some point they planned to kill him. And then when that plan did not come to pass, because God didn't allow it to come to pass, what then happened was that they now sold him. They first of all threw him into a well that was dry and there was no water. And he was there while they thought of what to do to him. So imagine that they say, we'll kill him. So we'll no kill him, let's wait. And they were waiting to be creative. They said, let's keep him. While they are going about their job, they are second to the last born. But Joseph was second to the last born. Benjamin was the last. All right? That young boy was inside there. His only cry was that he had a big dream. And they kept him in the well, saying, you, don't worry, but just this today, your own don't finish. His own brothers. And then slave traders were passing by, and they said, hey, come, we want to sell somebody to you. And it was their brother they picked out of the well and sold, and probably shared the money amongst themselves. I went to lie to their father that he was dead. And they sold him, and he went and was sold to Potiphar. I was in Potiphar's house, and he refused to be bitter. He was still living his life, and then Potiphar's wife wanted to now sleep with him and almost raped him. He ran away. She lied against him that he tried to rape her, and they took him and threw him into jail. Please, have you gone through that kind of thing in your own life? All the things you are going through, people have been doing to you. Have they sold you before into slavery? And here he was in prison. Now I want you to notice some Genesis 40, verse 14 to 15. One of the proofs that Joseph was not a bitter person. Now I want to show you. Look at this. So Genesis 40, verse 14 to 15. But think of me. So Joseph was talking to, all right, those Pharaoh's butler and people. He was talking to them, all right, and after interpreting their dream to them. So look what he said. But think on me when it shall be well with thee, and show kindness, I pray thee, unto me, and make mention of me unto Pharaoh, and bring me out of this house. He was saying, so when God delivers you, as I've told you from the dream, and you go back to Pharaoh, please remember me, show me kindness. Tell Pharaoh about me. Now look what it says in verse 15. Notice it says, for indeed I was stolen away out of the land of the Hebrews, and here also have I done nothing that they should put me into the dungeon. Notice Joseph's narration of the story. At first he says, I was stolen. That was stolen away is a word that means kidnapped. If he was somebody who was bitter, don't you think that this verse would not have been enough for him? An entire chapter would have been dedicated to his narration of the evil that was done to him. Your own brothers sold you. You say, I was kidnapped, so I was stolen away from my home. No. You know, one of the ways to know a bitter person is how they narrate the story. When they are done narrating the story, you that heard it, the hatred will rest on you. You will feel like, assembling the Justice League for them. Justice for Joseph. But look at how Joseph narrated the story. There was no bitterness in his heart. In fact, when his brothers came, it was clear there was no bitterness because he had the power to do them anything. He could do anything. If you read the story, Joseph had the power to do anything to them. He was in charge of Egypt. By the time they came and God had now caused the word had now manifested, he was in charge. He could do anything to them, yet when they came, he provided succor for them. In fact, the entire family moved from where they were into Egypt, and he gave them the best land. That is, the people who sold him into slavery, when they were in their worst moments, Joseph used his power and authority to rescue them, not to rescue them, to put them in luxury. You need to be careful. What Satan was after was to instigate bitterness in the heart of Joseph. When people are stirred up by the enemy to persecute you on your faith walk, Satan's aim is to get you to be bitter. And listen, a lot of people are bitter because they feel that I have a legitimate reason. Nobody is saying that you don't have a legitimate reason. But if you want your faith cycle to be completed, you had better understand how this thing works. Because if you get bitter, the Bible says in Galatians 5 verse 6, it says, neither circumcision nor uncircumcision availeth anything, but faith which worketh by love. Your faith works by love. In other words, faith and love must exist together for faith to work. When your heart is in bitterness, love is no longer the condition of your heart. Therefore, the condition for faith to produce is no longer there. You cannot be bitter and be in faith. I'll say it again. You cannot be bitter and be in faith. That is why forgiveness is such a powerful thing. You cannot be bitter and be holding on to a grudge and be in faith, and you expect that God's word